Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Continental Club. Today on Live with Janome, we're going to be going over the CM17 Embroidery Basics Part 3. And this is part of our Embroidery 101 series. The other two parts you'll find on the Continental Club page here under Guides. And you'll see guides at the top of your page if you're on a computer, and then you'll see it under the 3-bar menu top left if you're on a phone. And my name's Hein. I'm embroidery software specialist for Janome. And let me turn my camera on. Here you go. You can see I'm standing in a little bit different position today. You get to see my studio from a different way. My camera's here in the middle. I have things covered up because, there's all that glare on the CM17. So I've tried to cover things and I couldn't leave stuff in my normal view. So I moved around a little bit. So today we are talking about Embroidery Basics 101. And I know I've covered some lettering before, but I did not cover the monogram feature. And so there's some extra tools I want to alert you to with monogramming and also with lettering. So we're going to go over that today. And I'll have more topics as we come. I'm working on some things, on stabilizer, on hooping. We'll be working with the positioning marker, foot. We're going to do a bunch of other things. So I have a whole series of stuff we're going to be doing. So today we're going to be working on our monogram feature. All right, and I don't have a little project for you because I think you can play with this a little bit yourself. So let me go over to my camera view, and that would be right here. And here you can see I have my screensaver on. These are my kids. They're off scuba diving this weekend down in Florida. Oh, there I am with Dot. Dot always shows up with me. All right, so here we go. So I have my screen and I have a design already on there. And sometimes people, whenever you pick another design, it just covers this design, of course. So you have a couple of options. If you don't like that, if it makes you nervous, you can always go up to your house up here and you can go to embroidery mode and go here and it'll take your design off. So you don't have to worry about that. But you don't have to do that because it will cover it up. Now, whenever I'm going to work on my machine and I'm building embroideries and I want to add things to my machine, I will start right up here in my edit screen. I'm going to pull out my stylus just in case. So I would start here in my edit screen, and then I still have access to all my things here, even down at the bottom, my folders, so I could open something from there. And I could bring it in on the screen. Typically, when I want to build something, I will go to the largest hoop, only because it gives me the most flexibility. It's either this one or the large square, because I have the most flexibility with those two hoops. And then, of course, once I get it designed, I can center it more in the center and then see if it'll fit in a smaller hoop. They'll gray out the hoops if it will not fit. So you have that option right there. So we're going to be working in the monogram. And to work in the monogram, I'm just going to come up here to lettering. And across here are all your letters. So we'll go back. It comes up like this. And then you can page through either left or right. And since these are on the back side, there we go. We have 2-letter and 3-letter monogramming. So I'm going to select 2-letter for just a moment. And with 2-letter, you have your letters here. You have some different shapes for borders around there. And you can see it says 1 of 2. So you have 2. If you're under the 3-letter, you have 1 of 2 also. And you have some of these as well. You have to stay with this font. This is the font that they come up with. Though you could, ideally, you could do something like this and touch OK. See, it won't let you touch OK because you can't save that shape. But you can go get those shapes. It needs letters. You can go get those shapes somewhere else. You can create them in the Artistic Digitizer software, all those places. So I'm going to go back to the 2-letter, and I'm going to start with that. So I'm going to put in my 2 letters. You can do it with or without any of these, but you do have to pick your, let me take that out. You do have to pick these first if you want to use them. And let's see, I'm going to take that back out. and go to the next page. So I have all of these that I can work with. Let's see what that circle does. And I could go back to my letters. There we go. Now, once I'm done, I'm going to touch OK. And because I started in my edit screen, it brought me back to my edit screen. So I would touch OK if I was ready to stitch this. And it's going to come right here to this screen. All right. You don't always have to go to edit. I'll show you, we'll work with this one and then we'll go to the next one. So when you bring this over, one of the things I've noticed is when you don't use your, when you go to your edit screen and you don't bring it directly over from monogramming, you don't have these extra tools down here. There's some extra tools down here that you can work with. So let me show you that. So I'm going to go back into monogramming and I'm going to choose, we'll go to this squarish one. Oh no, actually, go back. Take that one out. I like this one. All right, back to my letters. There we go. And you could do letters first and then the shape. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to touch OK. And it goes right to my sew screen. Now you'll see down here, I have a new tab. And this tab is almost in the place where our little flower is. And you know when we have our flower and it shows, when you touch it, it shows one part of the design and it's only one petal, or you can see all the petals. So this here allows you to stitch the whole design in one color. And this, if you touch it and you get this ABC, it's going to stop after each color, after each letter, and give you a break so you can change the colors. All right, does that make sense? I think that's genius because a lot of times people, they wait, you know, they have to wait and watch it and then they stop and then whatever. But if you use this key down here, you can sew all of them together, or you can take the stops as needed. All right, and change the colors of all of it. All right, and it doesn't change the 3-color part of it. So it does show 1, 2, and 3. So there's three colors, 1, 2, and 3 in here. And right now you can go through each one. All right, let me show you one other thing when we go back in here. So that's if you go directly from your monogram page to your home, your ready to sew screen instead of going to your edit. If you're just going to do a monogram and you don't want to play with it at all, and you want to colorize it or whatever, you would want to start out there. Now, you could jump over here to the 3-letter and you could pick, they have the same kind of things here, and go back, and I'm going to go. So my H is you have to put it in the order that you want it, and then OK. There we go. And it's giving me this hoop. That's the hoop that will work with it. If I needed a different hoop, I could change it by going into the edit screen, but then I probably would lose this key. So let's try that. If I take it into edit, I can't. Let's see if it lets me colorize it. It does not. It's all one color. It will not give me the parts of this design. And when I touch OK, I've lost that part down here, so I can't change the colors. So I would just have to come, oops, not that one. Let's cancel out of there. Let's go here. And so you have to pick your outline first. So if I want my outline, I'm going to back up. I'm going to pick my outline, put in my letters, and then OK. So it's outline and then letters. So if you don't find the outlines, if you've picked letters, you know you have to switch it up. So there I have that color, the color stop. So it will change and stop colors for me so I can change my stitches as I go, my threads as I go. All right, so I want to show you one more thing that shows up here. I did not talk about it when we were in the lettering tab, lettering. And this only shows up when you do your letters directly to the Ready to Sew screen. So if I picked this typist font and I did my name like that, and I just hit OK, we have So it's going to move into the position. So you'll hear my arm move. And then you can see I have the 5 colors. There's 5 letters. I can change it and have it do one color for each letter. It'll stop for me. And then over here, you'll see I have this ABC in these squares. And because we didn't take this to the edit screen, we can pick a justify on our letters. So this will justify it to the left side of the hoop from center. And then this would, if I pick this one, it would justify it from the right-hand side. So from here, I don't think it'll show anything if we go in here, if you can see it. Yep, it's brought it over to the right side of my hoop. So it's going to bring it over there. It doesn't start sewing over here, but it brings it over here. All right, let me go back. Now that I brought it back in, I don't have those justify things anymore because I chose. Let me go back in and I'll do that again so you can see it. Whoops, go backwards. Here we go. All right, let's take that. And we'll go in here. So this is the justify. If I want it to be on the left side of my hoop, that's where it's going to be. And I'm going to go in here. I'm going to take it back to my edit screen. So I'm selected there, back to my edit screen so you can see. Now it's on the left side of my hoop. The center, when you pick the center one, it'll stitch in the center. So this could be handy. You do lose the ability to, you have your other tools here if you want, but you don't have your justify again. It could be handy if you're doing something where you've hooped it and you do need it to make sure it's starting over here and not in the center of your hoop. So you can bring it justify one way or justify the other. I think it's a pretty handy tool that you can play with. I think that's everything I wanted to show you. This is our go back button. Sometimes we forget to use it. And as you said, I was going here. I could easily go here and go back into my lettering. If I was in designs, it would take me back to designs. If I was in the edit screen, it would take me back to the edit screen. So we forget that that little button is there. All right. Now, I think I've mentioned this. Sometimes you turn it off. That means you don't have a crosshair to follow your design. Sometimes it's handy to have a crosshair. And as I take my first stitch, you'll see it comes over here and starts. So sometimes it's handy to see where your design is, especially if you have to back up a few stitches or something like that. The other thing I just want to go over quickly is if you run out of bobbin thread, or it says bobbin thread low, and you need to change your bobbin, you can unhook your hoop carefully, take it off your machine to the side, open your bobbin area, put in a new bobbin, get it all together, and put your hoop back on. Now, sometimes when people do that, they would like to back up a couple of points so you can touch here and go back just a couple of stitches if you'd like. Sometimes when I do that, I will do needle down, needle up, and pull my bobbin thread up so I know where it is when I'm starting, and then I can put it under the stitches just a little bit as I get going. The other thing when I stop to change a bobbin or even to thread the machine, if it between colors, if the machine is too close to the edge of your hoop, you will get a message here, move hoop for threading, or and then you would just say okay, and then it will move your hoop so that your threader's more towards the middle of the hoop is more underneath the threader better, and then you can thread. And then when you hit the start, it will ask you to move hoop back, and you can hit okay. Or when you go to unlock your machine, it'll do the same thing. So locking your machine will bring that up if you're too close to the edge of your hoop. All right, and I think I don't know if I justified this. Let's see if it gives me that. See right here, because I justified to the left, and if I have to thread now, move hoop for threading, keep hands clear, carriage will start moving. It's going to move out of the way for me. I'm going to thread. Once I thread, I unlock. It's going to say move hoop to start position. I'm going to say okay. At that point, if I feel I need to go back a couple stitches, I can use my minus right there. All right, so that's a lot of things. If you have questions today, be sure to put them in the comments. I'll be back checking again to make sure I've covered everything. And if you have something you want to see that I haven't shown, under the embroidery area, whether the edit or on the ready to sew screen here, let me know and we will cover that in a next episode. Let me put my camera back on and I'll say a proper goodbye. Here we go. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me today in the studio, and I hope you're enjoying my Embroidery 101 basics. If you have any questions, as I said, put them in the comments, and I'll be back later to check on those. Bye for now, everyone.